I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Brianna Jones.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Brie to like musical theater. And today, we've got an extra special returning guest.
The specialist returning guest.
Yes, very, very special. Please welcome this week's very special guest, the host of Movie Nights, a YouTuber, and the authority on David Hasselhoff, Allison Pregler. Applause, standing ovation. Add it here now, Brie.
You. Oh, thank you.
So what have you been up to for the last nearly 2 years?
Man, I don't know, making videos, watching Baywatch, nothing too terribly exciting, but keeping on.
Well, I'm going to assume it was your watching a Baywatch that led you to this thing we're covering today.
Oh, yeah, I was looking at David Hasselhoff's IMDb, and I saw that, I'm like, what does DJ Save My Life? And, Tubi provides. Holy crap.
Boy, is this a something show.
All right, Brie, cue the music so we can dive into this.
Even now, when I come shining through, I swear I think of you, how I wish you knew. Even now, when I have come so far, I wonder where you are. I wonder why it's still so hard without you. Even now.
Last Night, A DJ Saved My Life is a musical, a jukebox musical of sorts, with a book and direction by John Conway, and also, quote-unquote, created by David Hasselhoff as well, whatever created by means, if it's a musical.
But if you watch it, you know this is specifically made for David Hasselhoff,
Yes.
because all of these, like, Hasselhoff in-jokes, this is a show that was never put on before and never will be put on since.
No one else can play the role. No one else can fit the role.
That's the thing that's crazy about it. It premiered at the Blackpool Opera House in October of 2015, and then went on tour around the UK, so it was big event that everyone came out to see. And I'm going to read you the plot synopsis written on John Conway's website, because it is just the wackiest thing ever. All right, so the Hoff, they don't even use his character name. They call him the Hoff, is an out-of-touch DJ clinging to his misspent youth. His life is thrown into a hilarious tailspin when his estranged, free-spirited teenage daughter moves in. Now the Cad must become a dad. Includes hit songs from the 80s and 90s. The hilarious Hit Fest is also a touching father-daughter drama set against a background of sun, sea, sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and taking us back to the 80s and 90s when we were wearing denim overalls, girls had hair scrunchies, and guys played Nintendo Game Boy. Think Mamma Mia on speed.
None of that happens.
None.
He wasn't even that much of a cad. He was just a guy who wore shiny shirts and did not like drugs.
Exactly.
He didn't really seem like that much of a bad guy in this.
He was cool. A period
he was
piece
cool with
at
people
all
selling
either?
drugs.
It took me a while, because, like, watching it took me a while to realize it was a period piece, because it was like, wait, this is like, he's, like, stuck in the 80s, but then they're singing Spice Girls songs, and then what is going on now? And then she's talking about when she was a kid with her Care Bear doll, and then, like, he has a cell phone that's this big blocky cell phone, but by the time the Spice Girls were out, the cell phones wouldn't even be like that, and I don't even know where
The
True
cell
Survivor
phone
fits
joke
in,
is
because
like
that
the most
wasn't...
bizarre thing ever. He just pulls out the cell phone. He's like, and the audience is laughing, but I don't quite understand what's happening.
He had a cell phone. It's hilarious. Isn't it so much bigger than the ones we have now?
Funny that cell phones were big.
But it doesn't even seem like accurate to any sort of period. It's just a mishmash of things that they could get at Party City or whatever the UK equivalent is. And whatever costumes they had at home, they were terrible. They were from all sorts of different decades. You had, like, hammer pants, and then you had these weird pantsuits, and then you had the, like, Baywatch suits that were bought. They're Halloween costumes. They're literally Baywatch Halloween costumes. You could buy one right now. Nothing made sense.
I'm not okay. So let's talk a bit about John Conway for a second. The gentleman behind this, alongside David Hasselhoff. He is quote unquote a theater maker, but he's most known for making stunt shows for theme parks, including
Oh my God!
Spider-Man. The Spider-Man stunt show was created and developed by John Conway. So this
It makes
is
sense.
the perfect.
It really.
What?
It's all coming together now. This is a stunt
Everything
show
is-
for David Hasselhoff.
Allison, it is
All
so
full circle.
serendipitous.
I didn't know that. That makes a whole lot of sense.
This
though,
is like
knowing
the
that.
Baywatch show at Universal Studios or something.
No,
Like,
they
this
had
is-
they had Baywatch at SeaWorld. That's where they
SeaWorld.
did their stunt show.
This is that, but on tour.
It feels like a stunt show, or what I was thinking watching it was like cruise shippy. It feels like something where they're like, yeah, get in on the dance.
And like the audience is so uncritical of it. Like they're like
No,
just
they
laughing
loved
and
it.
they're
They loved
dancing.
it.
There's shots of the audience in the version we watched where they're like singing along with the songs and stuff, and it's like, how are they enjoying this so thoroughly?
Were they though? I felt like there was a lot of drinking, and they must have
Oh, yeah.
given these tickets out, like
I
for
think-
free or something. And you saw a lot of empty seats. I'm just gonna say.
There was people like standing up. It was weird. I don't even understand.
When they had like the beach balls at the end, they threw the beach
Yeah.
balls into the audience.
It's like,
lots
is
of
this-
audience participation.
Yeah, is this a Broadway show? Because they don't usually do that stuff.
It's not a Broadway show. Very specifically, this is a West End show. And
No,
I
see,
was-
we could have been talking about Jekyll and Hyde if we wanted a Hasselhoff Broadway show.
Yes.
That's true. We've already
Clearly
done
this
that.
is the
I don't
superior
want to do that
musical.
again, please.
I will say this is more suited to Hasselhoff's like acting and vocal abilities. Like it's fun to kind of make fun of his goat vibrato, but it works for these songs.
I don't know. I gotta disagree on this one.
Okay.
I thought he did better in Jekyll and Hyde, but they weren't the best version of Jekyll and Hyde. Like I think he has a vocal range, and Jekyll and Hyde is not in it, and this isn't either. But it doesn't fit very well. Like I thought, it all sounded like really bad karaoke, and I've heard Hasselhoff
Yeah.
do better.
I mean,
I think
I've heard him do
Hasselhoff
better.
just isn't that great, like,
I
in
mean,
general.
No, I'm gonna disagree there. There's something there. It is like charm and charisma that, like, even if he's not the best singer in the world, that comes through enough where you're like, I don't mind listening to this guy sing.
Oh, there's definitely charisma. I just don't think he has a singing voice.
He has like a very limited vocal range, and he really wants to be the big Broadway, like big moment singer, and that's not his range.
I think this show is more fitted for him just because it's all music people know already, so it is like karaoke.
I didn't know all of it, but I knew it was a jukebox musical. So like whenever something happened I never heard of, I was like, maybe this was something that was really big in the UK that didn't make its way over. I didn't know the Ebenezer Good song, and I'm like, I guess this must be something.
I am.
But it was stuck in my head afterwards.
Well, exactly. All these songs like are catchy enough, and I wanted a song list because there's nowhere on earth where I could find like a song list of what was in it. I waited through the credits to like get like to like where it's like, oh, this was written by whoever, and I'm like, nothing. I have no idea what songs were chosen for this and why. And I'm not.
Did they ever sing Last Night a DJ Saved My Life, or it was just in between they used bits of the song? Because I don't remember them actually singing the song.
Now that you mention it, I don't think I heard it either.
No, I don't
title-
think they did sing it.
It's like if you go to Mamma Mia and they never sang Mamma Mia, I'd want my money back.
Like, because I'd never heard of the song Last Night a DJ Saved My Life until this, and I looked it up, and I'm like, okay, so it's like a real song, and like, it's weird to have it based off of this.
Right.
But, like, at no point do they say it, and I don't think, like, he's the DJ, and he doesn't save anyone's life. I guess she has, like, the drug overdose, but, like, Hasselhoff, I don't know, I guess.
Okay.
I feel like
I guess
we
he
gotta
saves
talk
her
about
life.
the plot. We gotta talk.
We gotta talk
actually-
about the plot. Andrew, please tell us what happens in this show, please. Let's just go
Okay.
through that real quick.
So David Hasselhoff isn't like in the beginning, because at the start of it they're on a plane and it's his daughter and just two of her friends. I think that they're friends. I can't even really tell, honestly. They're flying
I can't
to.
tell how old they're supposed to be. They keep talking about being underage and stuff, but I have no idea what
Yeah,
the
they
in-universe
look
age
like
is supposed
they
to
look
be.
like they could be 30. So I honestly have no idea.
They're either
Like-
46 or 16, one of those two.
It's somewhere in between those two ages. So they're flying to wherever David Hasselhoff is. Do they specify a city?
Yes.
Ibiza is where
Yes.
they're at. Ibiza? Is she saying
Ibiza?
it's stupid and I'm saying it's stupid now?
Ibiza.
Ibiza.
We're gonna say Ibiza
It's-
the entire time, and the audience just has to deal.
Because she said things they're kind of chavs, right? They're
Yeah.
kind of
Yes.
chavs, so they're kind of douchey British kids who say things kind of silly. And Ibiza, I think, is a popular like tourist place where there's lots of like Spanish influence, stuff like that. And I don't
that
know
way.
if that's
There's a lot
there's
of
like a big drug scene as well, but I'm not sure where exactly it is. It's some island, I think.
There's a lot of cultural stuff you got to go in, like, trying to unwrap as an American. Like, David Hasselhoff's got the American accent, and yet everyone else has, like, these very, like, lower-class British accents, and...
This feels very autobiographical too, because
Yes.
like right now he is married to like a British blonde woman who's like significantly younger than him.
Sounds about
Everything
right for the
all
Hoff. That's
this
like
is, like-
created by credit. That's why he got
Yeah,
that
that's
created by credit.
Created by because he lived it first, and then they made it the show.
I think at the time he had just declared that he was broke because he had gotten divorced from his previous wife Pamela Bach, who's not British but a young blonde woman, and yeah, he was paying a lot of money, so he said he had like $4,000 in the bank at the time, so that might explain a little bit about why this play happened.
He's so desperate for cash. He's like, I'll do anything.
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing a lot of dunking on here. I don't want to be like really mean spirited. I think
No.
Hasselhoff is great.
Hasselhoff
And he was
is
like he was
great,
having a
and
good
he's a-
time doing this.
He's fun. It's just he's always in embarrassing things. That's really the problem.
I think the show would be less than nothing without the Hoff, is the way to say it. It is
yeah. Oh, this
something
show-
because he's here.
We wouldn't even be talking about this if Hasselhoff wasn't in it. So I mean,
No, everyone else is terrible. Can I just say they're terrible?
She said it.
yeah, she said it first. Yeah, no, they are.
But they're not nobodies is the thing. Like, the main girl, like, her last name's Titty. She was from The Voice. Like,
was
there-
she?
Yeah, Hasselhoff was not the only celebrity. Like, all these people were, like, people.
I
Like-
think the guy that plays the DJ that she's in love with is like the son of some famous actor or something. He's like someone junior, and I think maybe that's why he got in on this. These are people I am not familiar with.
Yeah, I don't
and you
know
wouldn't
them.
know that they're singers that could actually sing, like, because like being on The Voice, you have to have some vocal talent,
Right.
and like I don't know if they had like some bad equipment where you couldn't like hear yourself either, because it seemed like Hasselhoff was like off with the timing on the songs as well.
No monitors or something. Who knows?
It felt like they had one go at it, and they're like, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, whatever. So they're flying to Ibiza. Did we agree
Yes.
it was Ibiza? Okay.
Ibiza.
Ibiza. They're going to Ibiza, where David Hasselhoff owns his own club. And his daughter is like very upset with him because he's dating a woman that is much younger than him, and there are people working at his club that are just selling drugs to people.
And he's cool with it until it's his daughter.
Yeah, he's cool with it until it affects him personally.
This is a very corrupt thing going on in this movie.
I was gonna say corruption saves the day at the end.
Yeah.
The moral of this story is corruption is pretty sick.
A+.
Yeah, they sell drugs to his daughter. He tells them to get lost, and they're like, no, we're not gonna get lost because we'll go to the police, and your club is gonna go under if that happens. But he calls the police and sacrifices his own club and livelihood and everything. But the police are like, yo, we're friends, so like you're not going to jail. Sick. And that's the end. That's the end. They bring the bad guys to jail, and David Hasselhoff, who was complicit in the entire thing, just gets off because the police like him.
We're buds.
I didn't get the point of his sacrifice. Am I being dumb here? Like, he puts like a bag of acid or whatever in his jacket.
Why does he do
and then
that?
Why does he do that? It doesn't get anyone
For
else off.
trippy
It's
drug
like-
scene.
He calls the police to
Oh.
turn himself in, but he has no reason to like directly implicate himself as well. Like, he
Yeah, I
could've
didn't
just-
understand. They were acting like he made some big sacrifice, and it's like, for what? For the Ebenezer guy? Like, who are you
He
sacrificing
puts the
yourself
drugs in
for?
his pocket, and he's just like, "Yep, it was me. I did it."
I I do have some trivia about the LSD tripping scene.
Yes.
So there's a bit where David Hasselhoff takes some LSD,
Oh
and then
my
they have like
God.
this whole music medley where people are like having an orgy, like Eyes Wide Shut or something.
Bro, it's so
there's like a
trippy.
pope there. There's people in like bodysuits. And they apparently would, when they did the show, they would do it interactive with the audience. So he
Oh.
would always ask them, like, should I take it? Should I not? And his daughter's like, well, how do you know what it's like unless you take it? And he's like, well, what do you think, audience?
so ridiculous.
And then the audience will tell him yes or no. And I don't think it affects the outcome much, except like whether he purposefully takes it or whether he accidentally takes it like a
Yeah,
dumbass,
I
which
think-
is the version that
Choose
was
your
on
own
TV.
the one
adventure
we saw
musical
is
style.
he accidentally takes it like a dumbass. And then the police, when they show up, they're like, yeah, he did the acid, but he was only doing it to see what it was like. And that's how they let him off.
I'm gonna try that one. I'm gonna try that one next time I get caught with drugs. I just
tone
want
of
to see
this
what it was
movie-
like.
The tone of this movie / musical, I mean, it's just a filmed play.
Yeah.
But the tone of this is like, it's so all over the place, because like they have it's fairly kind of goofy jukebox musical stuff, and then they get to the parts where you get the skeezy drug dealer who's wearing a shirt that's like, acid is great, so you know he's bad, and he's giving acid to everyone, and they're like, yeah. And then that's when Penny, the daughter, gets involved with this, and she's like, oh, I don't know, I guess I'll take it. And then she has an overdose, and she falls over, like she passes out in the club, and then Hasselhoff's like, oh no, get my daughter out of here, go to the hospital. And then it's very serious. You get like a flat line on the screen on the back.
Hold on. Then you go into the intermission, where the intermission would be. You'd go out and be like, man, I wonder what's gonna happen in Act 2. And what happens when you sit back down? Baywatch.
Yeah, Baywatch.
Baywatch.
Baywatch happens. We go from like we go from flatlining evil laughter. The drug dealer is laughing evilly over it, like my plan.
Drugs!
And then a Baywatch musical number where Hasselhoff is dressed in the trunks. They're all in Halloween costumes. They're dancing. He is singing the Baywatch theme song. I believe he forgets the words at some point. I think he gets it wrong. They kind of do a remix. And I'm thinking like, sir, your daughter could be dead. For all we know, his daughter is dead. We saw a flat line. And then she shows up in the Baywatch costume like, Dad, it's no big deal.
Wait. I want to talk about that moment specifically, because he's like so wiped out from the barely dancing he did that when she's like, Dad, what are you doing? And he's like, when did you get into drugs? And I'm like, you could have into drugs. Like, you could have said that right on the floor eating your Wendy's, David Hasselhoff, and I would have just as easily believed
Okay,
you.
when David Hasselhoff first shows up, like, the first thing he says is, like, slurred. It's like, he's drunk.
I don't think
feel
he's
like
drunk. I think
drunk.
he's tired. I think he's just tired.
I don't want to get into those jokes because he was a recovering alcoholic.
Oh, I did not
is
know
that
that.
true?
I'm so sorry.
Is that
I'm
true?
sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I did notice some slurring. He might have been tired. They did have some mistakes in the show. Like, for instance, there's a part where the guy, the DJ, the other DJ in training, whatever he is. I
I don't know that guy's name.
Yeah, I think Rick was the name of the
Yeah,
character.
Rick.
Is that why he does the Rick roll, the Rick Astley song?
The show Rick rolled us.
Yeah, no, you're
I
right.
didn't
He's
even
definitely
get
Rick.
to just now. I think that's
He's
why they had to
definitely
do a Rick
Rick.
Astley song.
I hate it. I hate this.
He tries to like put his foot on a box, like kneel on it, and he misses at one point.
You could cut around that, you know. You could like do a quick editing thing and not have that there, but it's just the disco saved my life, or the DJ saved my life.
The whole the props and the staging and all this on this show, it's almost like a version of Our Town or something. Like, it's a lot of boxes and very minimal props, and
They have
just
a
like a
couch.
screen on the back.
They have a couch and they have a DJ stand, and that's like the whole set.
The bar had like digital drinks in the background. They couldn't afford to get any drinks, but the guy has like a bar and then like a single crate and a single red Solo cup, which he uses as his stage business. Like, they go out and they're walking away, and he's like, "Aha, single cup into this crate." Done.
It's so cheap.
But some of that kind of is charming. Like, I don't mind the use of screens and all that, like, in something like this, because it is a tongue-in... Like, this isn't asking us to take it seriously, is the thing.
No.
Sometimes it
sure.
tries, like, with the drug
Well, they talk
overdose
to the
scene.
audience a lot. They're very much like breaking the fourth wall and like, whatever, we're here to have a good time.
Right.
This is
And
like an after-school special level of take it seriously.
I wouldn't even call it that bad, because it's trying to have fun. Like, first and foremost, it's fun before story, before message, before all of that. Like, I imagine every one of our parents would probably enjoy going to see this because, oh, these are the songs from my childhood.
It is a very nostalgia-based thing.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why you go to something like David Hasselhoff sings the greats, you know? But it does end with him saying horny, 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 though. So I don't know if I can call it great.
No, it isn't great. No, it is not.
I think the only song that kind of stands out as not being weird nostalgia is when they do the Rickroll, which is just an internet meme.
Yes. That's
Yeah,
for the kids.
that's
That
true.
one-
Well, they threw in like True Survivor too, even though that like it's an '80s throwback song, but it's recent. But David Hasselhoff like is like in a bar fight in the middle of it just to like recreate it. That was really weird. It felt very anachronistic.
Yeah.
Well, it felt like they didn't quite know what they... It felt like it started as like, oh, 80s, we'll stick with 80s. They're like, but we want to throw a little bit of Spice Girls and a couple other things. Well, 80s, 90s, I guess.
maybe
and then
like
it
a
just-
throwback.
it's a
maybe
mess.
like, who cares? Whatever.
Whatever the Hoff sounds good singing, and like we feel like would kind of get the crowd jumping. Like that'll be it.
I want to talk about the screens in the background just a
Yes.
little bit more
Sure.
because, like, okay, there's like some choices for what they put on the screen. Like at one point they're singing a song. I forget which one it was, but they start. It might have been during like the LSD party scene, and then there's like jack-o'-lanterns in the background for some reason.
Well,
There's like
also
a DJ
devils on stage.
skeleton. Yeah, well, no, I mean like during just the party scene, not the
Oh.
LSD trip out scene. It was just like when they're just at the party and everyone's like, yeah, and then a jack-o'-lantern for some reason.
It's a Halloween show. It's themed.
It would make sense if it was around Halloween. Maybe that's what it was, but I was very confused by a lot of the choices. And like they also, this was when they were first showing us the club. The band that is doing some of the live music for them, they do have like a live band in the background of the screen. Like they have them there, but they wanted to be able to hear the dialogue. So like they just have them silently playing in the background for a long time, but they don't play like any soft music or anything. So it's just them like silently like pretending to drum or pretending to do the guitar. It was really weird.
Yeah.
All right,
There was-
all right.
There's a lot
we've
of
got-
talking in this show.
There
Yeah.
is. But we got to take a small break and hear our opinions in comparison to those of the West End theater critics. It's time for the best segment of the show. It's time for Bree's Views, where Bree reads reviews of the theater critics.
Oh boy.
Oh gosh. Okay.
What do they have to say about this? I can't.
Well, I mean,
imagine
what
that
do we
they're not-
think? Are we thinking they lean in negative or positive?
It depends how seriously they take themselves. I mean, it'd be very easy to dumpster this show and just be like, yeah, that was garbage. But maybe they understand what it's for and go easy on it.
I don't know. I feel like this is a like kind of like the UK equivalent of Vegas. Like there's a lot of kind of throwaway shows like this.
Yeah.
But
All right,
see.
Bree.
We'll see.
Let's dive in.
I can't wait to hear these.
All right. So the Telegraph's critic Veronica Lee said, "The Hoff, whose movement is the Hoff, whose Andrew, stop laughing.
They don't call him
It's
they
so
don't.
funny.
That's just his name. That is a
It's just
replacement
his
value
name. It's
for his
just the
name.
Hoff. I love it. I think it's hilarious.
The Hoff, whose movement is restricted by the noticeable effects of an old knee injury, doesn't dance, but more than holds his own in the singing department, particularly with Barry Manilow's Even Now, where Ross sings about his love for Penny. It's a genuinely affecting moment."
Come on now.
That's a little. I feel like that. I don't think that you have to dumpster the show, but that's a little too nice. I think.
Just you wait. There's 2 more paragraphs of that review.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
So the air quote jokes, though are of an even older vintage than the music, are best forgotten. Take my ex-wife, Ross says at one point. No, really, take her. That line gives Conway's background in pantomime and isn't the only groaner in a clunky script.
See, even.
The second act opens with a recreation of a scene from Baywatch, complete with theme tune, which is unwittingly funny as it comes without any attempt at context.
Yeah.
True. Very true.
But that isn't the most bizarre element of the Star vehicle, as the Hoff's character accidentally drops an ecstasy tablet and we see the mind-bending effect it has on him. I have to admit, I wasn't expecting that.
And that is
He
the end of the
speaks the
review.
truth.
That is
It feels like they're trying to be nice,
They love
Right.
him.
like about something that they didn't like. It's like they're
Yeah.
like, well, I wasn't expecting that.
I wasn't expecting it. I'm not gonna
It
say
was
it was
funny 'cause-
bad, but
It was funny because there was no context.
I feel
Which
like
is
that,
absolutely true, though. If I sound like I'm being negative, I'm not. I loved this. It was terrible, but I loved it.
right. It is ironically enjoyable. Bree, I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna take the second one because this is a bad review in the fact that I think the reviewer is bad at his job.
Okay,
Oh, no.
go ahead and take it away.
This is almost on tier of the Rainbow Cardigan review. Like,
oh no.
Take it away.
all right, so this is Dale Roberts of The Guide Liverpool. This is how it starts. Okay, so I'll be honest here. I went to see the show after a long, hard day. I rushed into the Ma Edgerton for a signature pizza for dinner, and then I rushed into the Empire to find my seat. The singing began, and I started to think as a writer, I thought, what can I write about this? It doesn't seem too good so far. The sound is slightly loud, the storyline is weak. These thoughts came to mind one after another, at which point David Hasselhoff came out. Even the fanboy inside of myself was impressed by how such a man was there playing an Ibiza DJ. He started talking and I was gripped. He was funny, his singing was entertaining to say the least, and he knew how to play to the audience and get a response from a line. The permanent shouting, "We love you, David," while off-putting, only added to an atmosphere of fun that was there while he was on stage. All in all, while it wasn't the greatest show I've ever seen by a long shot, it was exactly what it needed after a long, hard day to get myself into a fun mood and leave with a smile on my face, which, let's be honest, is the only reason we go to the theater in the first place.
You know what? I love
write?
this review. This is great.
This is amazing, but who let this guy write for their newspaper?
That's mostly it. Like, I think it's a great, review to read on one of these podcasts, but who let him write that? What editor was like, I guess we're sticking with this?
Can we hire the guy that goes and gets a pizza and writes that into the review and then talks about how David Hasselhoff changed his life?
That felt like someone
Can
describing...
we have the theater reviewer guy be the guy who hates theater, apparently?
They were singing and there was a story and it was boring, but then David Hasselhoff came out and it was amazing.
I mean, we had fun. That's the only reason we go to the theater. I mean,
It's not like an
I don't
art
care
form
about
or
any
anything.
critical thought. That's why I review theater plays.
Like, he had no criticism, nothing of value to bring aside from David Hasselhoff. Am I right?
He was even
mean-
everything before David Hasselhoff was boring and bad, and then David Hasselhoff, and the show was amazing.
Take any bad show, add the Hoff, magic.
Add the Hoff, baby.
Do you guys know he has a metal song that just came out this year?
I
What?
do. It was
Heck yeah.
amazing. Jess,
Is
I
it
sent
good?
it to you.
I don't
Pretty
remember
good.
this.
Check my Twitter. It's pretty sick.
Bree, play a clip of it right now.
Darkness falls, but all light is fading. I will be the one always waiting for you to find the faith you need. To fight for what you truly believe in. Find the voice that guides you from within. Become the flame that burns in me.
My God, that was insane.
Just pretend that you've heard it. Okay, I thought it actually. I have heard it, and I thought it was pretty good.
You take a metal song, add the Hoff, magic.
Well, first there was these guitars, and it was boring, but then the Hoff came out.
I'm sorry. I imagine I would have a lot more passionate feelings about it if I had seen it live like this guy and felt like the magnetism of David Hasselhoff, which I have heard from like Jekyll and Hyde reviews. You could still feel it, like even through that. He does have a stage presence to him, which is uncomparable to anyone else.
Listen, if I saw flyers for last night a DJ Saved My Life, and they're like, party down with the Hoff, I would be there yesterday. I would have a great time watching that. And a lot of things like this too, because this is not a play that's really meant to be preserved, which I think is what is so fascinating about it. The fact that this was like filmed and put out on Tubi and presumably on DVD and stuff like that for people to like watch later. This is like a throwaway show. This is a thing you go and see on a weekend and then like it's forgotten by time. But I mean, that's why you go to a show like this. You want to hear like the jukebox songs. There's probably a lot of drinking going on in the audience, and just like want to have like a little karaoke sing along, and that's kind of what this was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's honestly dragged down by all the parts where David Hasselhoff isn't in it. So maybe I do agree with Dale Roberts here. Everything without Hasselhoff
terrible.
is pretty bad, but David Hasselhoff being there, it's like. It's not like it makes it good, but it makes it like I don't mind watching this.
It's kind of weird and cheap. Like I'm sorry. Before we go on, like, were there other reviews? I don't want to like.
Nope, that was it. Those were the only two.
You can go wherever you want here.
There was the part where they're on the beach on the boxes that are supposed to be the beach, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
And then the girls are all in bathing suits, but they all have noticeable like bras underneath the bathing suits, like because they didn't want to change all the way, and that was very distracting. The costumes were pretty cheap, and there's like this jumper or jumpsuit that like that Penny is wearing that's like satin or some material. It's all puckering and cheap looking, and they keep her in that through much of the play. I don't know, it feels a little bit lazy, to be honest.
You think
this
so?
show lazy? What do you mean? The only one not being lazy is David Hasselhoff, who's giving it his all, to be honest.
The audience loved that the guy who kept getting words wrong because he like English is a second language, so he would like say things funny and they'd be like, ha, 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 ha.
I think
he said the wrong word.
I think it's weird you can hear the audience in the recording because you can tell which jokes actually landed and which ones were just awful.
Most of them didn't land. I didn't hear the audience laugh for most of them.
Yeah,
they didn't even half-assedly add laugh tracks later in editing.
Yeah, there was some where they laughed, but I'm remembering like that. Oh my god, that phone scene just goes on so long. They do like 3 jokes with it, and I didn't hear a single person laugh the entire time. I was like, "Is this funny? Is this a gag? Is this a bit? Like, what's going on?"
He like at one point his young wife wants to like talk to him about something serious, and she works herself up to it, and then when he comes in, like, she's like, I gotta tell you something right now, and he's like, okay, what is it? You can tell me anything. What is it? And she goes like, the toilets are blocked up.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right.
And the audience was meant to laugh, but no one did.
But they keep doing it too, because then they bring that joke over, and he's like, oh, you need to go check the loo, and the guy doesn't understand what he's saying.
Oh, yeah, Corey Vindaloo
the joke,
or
it
something.
just keeps going. It just keeps going, and it's like no one is laughing. It's not funny, and it doesn't end.
He thought Chicken Vindaloo was in the toilet. That's so funny.
It's like, it's not
That's
funny.
so funny.
What's the joke here? Oh my god.
All right, I think we need to go into a mid-show and shill some stuff, and then we'll come back and talk about the musical numbers.
Oh, yes. The very not lazy musical numbers.
Of course. So enjoy these commercials, kids, and buy all their merchandise, or else we'll get in trouble.
Buy our merchandise.
Yeah, that too. All right. Hey, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got a shill at you. Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Andrew, what is Patreon and who's donating to us?
Patreon's where you can go if you'd like to get some extra content from us and give us some money, to help us keep the show going. What do we have for extra content? We just did some Muppet stuff for Christmas, and
We did Muppet stuff. We got a lot of cool things planned for the new year. This is going to be a good year for Patreon.
Yes.
I think we got a new TV show planned to do weekly there, so it's going to be fun. We're going to have fun in 2021. But who's supporting us, Andrew?
2021, and we have Melissa Goldman, Terry Needleman, John Donna, Max Lunig, Lily Ackles, Danielle Renix, Jess the Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Taskier, Fire of September, Monica Thoreau, Mina Maneri, Brent Black, Haley Murray, Alice in Wonderland, B-Way Flicks, Nathaniel Stacy Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Carrie Ahern, Irigale, Drew A. Whiter, Christine Malmadell, Cole Birchfield, Mary Lou Choquette, Jean Vanals, Holy Sticality, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Gracie, Andrew Van Barson, To Blam, Kyle Summers, Janae C., Kyle, Christina Francis, Felice A., Skylar, Liz Lim, Corey Wilmarth, Allison Stuller, pardon me, Allison Stuller, Nothing is Certain Except Beth and Taxes, Elizabeth, Thespian, Ren Cullen, Jamie Holland, Wait in the Wings, Lady Malvolia, Spectacle Machine, Jacob Stroop, Robert Benjamin, Rachel T., Jessica Tubus, Billy Hefner, Genevieve Hartnett, Cassandra Panay, and Martin Lopez.
Did you just say Pina as Panay? What?
Is it Pina? Is it Pina?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yes. But these
I'm
folks
just
give us a little extra
reading these
financial
things.
support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musical Cheese. If you would like to join them in supporting us, you get tons of fun perks such as Patreon-only commentaries, our episodes a day early or even earlier, and a bunch of other shit. Come join us over at Patreon. Also, we've got merch. Go to our website, musicalswithcheese.com, and click the merch button.
Okay.
Aside from that, let's get back onto this because my God, these song numbers. What was the opening number to this show? Like, what song was that?
Did they start with the Spice Girls, or was it something else?
And this is where, like, not having a song list is really difficult. Like, I tried to, like, figure out who are these, because I this isn't nostalgia for my days. I don't know many of these songs. This is the problem.
There was
Well,
like a
I think
few.
they started with like Spice Up Your Life at the airport, right? I feel like they threw us in the deep end real early.
Throw us in the Spice world.
When you're feeling sad and low, we will take you where you gotta go. Smiling, dancing, everything is free. All you need is positivity. Spice up your life. Every boy and every girl. Spice up your life. People of the world. Spice up your life.
Yeah. We entered the Spice world. That was the first one I remember hearing. There were like a few, like there were a lot I recognized. There were a few that I didn't, and part of that might be the time. Part of it might be because they were big over there but didn't
Right.
make it over here or something.
Roy, the big ones I remember are when he sang Barry Manilow, when he
That was a
when
big
they did
moment.
when they did Rickroll, the Baywatch theme song, obviously.
The Rickroll bothers me because it seemed like they were trying to play it off as sincere at first because
It was a romantic Rickroll.
but the audience started laughing.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you, and I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling, gotta make you understand, never gonna give you up.
It was like a romantic tongue-in-cheek Rickroll. It was like, we know what we're doing and you should laugh, but also this is serious. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because it's felt like the second act breakup storytelling wise, where it's like really serious, depressing, and then just throw Rick Astley in there, and I guess we're good.
It was like what they were trying to do what Moulin Rouge did. You know, like sometimes they would have songs that were like ridiculous, but they would play them sincere and it would work
Yeah.
out pretty well, but this is not like competent enough to really pull it off.
It's also not
I
like,
remember-
the most surreal movie I've ever seen. You know, this is like a stage show. It doesn't quite work the same.
When Hasselhoff first shows up, he's DJing at
Yes.
the club, and he
Yes.
does like a medley of songs. So he starts singing relax. They do the Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and then he says "Don't Hasselhoff" in the middle of it.
Yep.
Just to throw that out there.
Yep.
And then goes into "Don't touch this."
Yeah, don't touch this.
Yeah. There. I'm sure there was a few more.
Relight my fire. Her love is my only desire. Relight my fire. 'Cause I need her love. Relax. Relax. Don't hassle the heart. Relax. When you want to come. Can't touch this. Can't touch this. Can't touch this.
It's a mess.
I mean, it kind of works as a set. In spite of itself, by the end of it, it kind of worked.
I think the best song is David Hasselhoff's opening. Because it almost feels like he is DJing for a party that I'm at, you know? Like,
Yeah.
David Hasselhoff is at my party and he's DJing and he's running through all the hits.
Oh my god, just envisioning that. I want to be there. I want to be at a party DJed by
Exactly.
David Hasselhoff.
That was like the best moment was he gets rolled out and he's just yelling and he starts singing and it's like, oh man, let's go.
This is like the bookend of the entire show is like DJing and then like DJing at the end and like getting everyone into it. It's
Yep.
like the ending of Shrek, right? Everything's over. You just want to have the music numbers and you're singing with your favorite characters. And Hasselhoff's there. I'm a believer. He's horny.
Yeah.
It's good.
It really
He's
just
horny.
makes me think, would this just be better if David Hasselhoff was just doing a DJ show?
You know what? I feel I'd take it out the story and just David Hasselhoff sings the hits of the 80s and 90s with
Well, that
like,
would be his concerts.
Yeah.
what's wrong with that? His concert sounds
Honestly,
It's
awesome.
fine, but like it wouldn't be a play then. It
It
would
would-
just be
yeah,
a
it would-
concert by David Hasselhoff,
Yeah.
which is what he does. He does covers and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Are we just saying that you should seek out a David Hasselhoff show instead of watching this?
Oh man!
Oh.
If you guys ever get a chance to find it, David Hasselhoff and the Night Rockers, the tape where he went on tour in Austria, that is worth seeking out.
My gosh.
It's very
I
good.
believe it. I think David Hasselhoff has some fun and some charisma, and he's fun to watch.
He is. He's endlessly watchable. Like, he is one of the most watchable performers who's been in a lot of not so great things. But we have an expert here, and I want to know, Allison, how does this rank among some of the other stuff David Hasselhoff has been in?
I mean, it is. I've seen some Hasselhoff projects that weren't like fun revisiting, but this is like I wouldn't call this a good production, but it's so bad it's good.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating that it exists in and of itself, just the entire production, not just that Hasselhoff was involved. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I would rank it high, but I'm glad that they put it up for people to see.
I mean, I agree. I'm amazed they put it out for people to see. Like, why is this one the one that gets filmed is the question, like, among all the other stage
Yeah.
shows that have ever
I don't
existed.
know. I did see that Hasselhoff was an executive producer on it, so maybe he was like, we need the merch.
That's like the
Sell the
created by.
merch.
That's like his created by credit.
Yeah.
Like, what does that
Yeah.
mean,
I wonder
David?
I wonder if he worked with the guy that wrote it, because like it feels like a lot of very specific to Hasselhoff stuff in there. I mean, at the very least, the guy was familiar with a lot of things about him.
I mean,
Yeah.
the guy is known in the UK for doing a lot of big, broad theater. Like, looking at his work, it looks like he does stunt shows, cruise ships, and all the things we expected based on the aesthetics shown here. He isn't doing big, like, Les Mis style theater that is meant to be taken seriously.
No, the most creativity he put into it, he's like, we got to make sure that these people have names that songs relate to, so we can like. But that guy's got to be named Ebenezer, so we can do the Ebenezer Good song, and we
And
got to
then,
have
yeah,
like
Rick,
I was
so we can do
surprised
the
they
Rick
didn't
roll
pull a
and-
Mandy out there, but because they called a song Mandy, but or it called one of the characters Mandy, but yeah, they do seem to connect all of these things.
That might have
I
been
mean-
planned. Maybe they had to cut it out.
The only
true.
thing that this writer slash producer slash collaborator did that is close to a musical in the same way this is Elf the musical, which he produced.
I want to see Elf the musical.
I didn't know that
Apparently,
was
it's
a
pretty
thing.
good. Is the thing like it is not
I
bad?
bet that would be
apparently.
great. I would love to see Elf the musical.
They this year, I believe, they just did a recording of it with Ben Forster as Buddy the Elf, and they adapted the musical into the Jim Parsons stop motion animated thing that they put on NBC about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Oh, so that was that musical was that?
No, that musical started on stage, got adapted into that stop motion, and then was filmed on stage this year. So it's always been a
okay.
stage thing, but they've been picking from it, and it's written by the same guys that did The Prom, if I remember correctly, Matthew Sklar and all that. So that is the closest thing to legit he's been.
Okay.
John Conway.
I mean, like, I can't say anything about his songwriting skills or if he was involved with any songwriting because he didn't write anything for this.
No.
Right.
As far as, like, the dialogue and the jokes go, I don't know. They weren't great. But if you're doing it for a cruise ship or a stunt show or that kind of thing, I mean, like, it's serviceable.
I mean, I'd actually really enjoy this on a cruise ship. Like, on a booze cruise, you've already been,
Heck yeah.
roasting all day, then you go into
Yeah.
the deck, and there's
I'd
David
be impressed,
Hasselhoff.
honestly. David Hasselhoff's on my cruise ship and he's doing a show for me. I'd be impressed.
And he loves doing the theater too. That's like one of the things like consistent with David Hasselhoff. Like he always brings up in interviews, like, I want to do the theater, and like, he's done a lot of stuff in the UK too. Like, because I think that's where he lives now. And he's done a lot of stuff that's like with more legitimacy. I know he was in a production of Peter Pan playing Hook for a long time.
That's fun.
Which I think got better reviews than this.
Well, the thing is, this didn't get bad reviews, as we've discovered.
Well, all right. I mean, I think they're being a little nice, to be honest, even though I do enjoy it.
They're very, very nice.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to piss
Maybe
off
I'm
David
being too
Hasselhoff
cynical
either.
looking at this, you know? Maybe I'm being too cynical. I just need to give in. But, like, I just feel... I feel it was really lazy. It wasn't done very well.
No.
It felt like cheesy sitcoms from the 80s that lasted maybe a half season.
There was a Bill Clinton joke in there. He says, like, I didn't have sexual relations with that woman. Like,
Oh my god!
it's
Like,
so
what year
old.
is it?
It's a reference
Someone
to
was
like
wearing
before.
leg warmers.
Is
I
this
don't
supposed to
understand
take place in
decade.
the 80s or the 90s? Like, did the Bill
It
Clinton
has
thing
to be
already
90s
happen?
at least. It has to be 90s at least because they say that he's stuck in the past being in the 80s, but the 80s is only like a decade ago in their universe. So it's not even that like that sad to be like, okay, I feel some nostalgia for 10 years ago. They're not clear what the decade is. You just have to kind of glean from what you see, but none of it seems very specific to any sort of thing. But it's not like the Goldbergs where it's like, let's just take all of our nostalgia and everything happened that one year. It's just like, I don't know, this is what we had like 2 minutes before the show we could buy or bring, or like we had in our wardrobes already.
I do want to bring up that this did springboard Hoff into a legitimate theater role right afterwards. Like right after this, he jumped into Dolly Parton's 9 to 5 as one of the lead actors on the West End.
Heck yeah.
Which I think that is like a perfect musical for David Hasselhoff. It's tongue-in-cheek and the vocals are like Dolly Parton range, which I think would suit David Hasselhoff's voice very, very well.
I saw him as the boss in Click. I bet he could do this. Yeah.
I forgot he was in
That sounds great. Yeah. That sounds great, honestly. I think I did see like a little trailer promo for that. And like that's fairly recent too because DJ Saved My Life was only 4 years ago. So
that was in
fairly recent
February of
stuff.
2020 is when he put his last performance right before COVID. So he was working in the theater right up to the moment theater stopped existing.
Oh man. Good for him.
I would pay money to see him in that. But now we've reached the end of the show. Allison, what is your overall thoughts on Last Night a DJ Saved My Life and your cheese rating?
Please check it out. What cheese rating? What are the ratings again? Just a specific kind of cheese?
Any cheese that you feel like you can justify relating to this show in any way.
Oh, this is Cheese Whiz. It's cheap. You're not doing it because you're like, I want something fancy. You just want to have a good time. It's debatably called cheese, I think that's what I would call it.
I think that's brilliant. Andrew, you're up next. What is your overall thoughts on this and your cheese rating?
I think if you're a big David Hasselhoff fan, I don't even know if it's worth seeking out, but maybe. I don't think I could recommend this to anybody else, though. It's a little too cheap and lazy to be enjoyable for the average audience. But that being said, we've watched things that are more unwatchable than this. I mean, this is at least ironically enjoyable in some fashion. So I'm gonna give it a cheeseburger. For David Hasselhoff reasons, I guess that's the meme with him.
God damn it, Andrew! Stop! That's bad.
It's mean. I'm sorry.
That's bad. I made my joke, and I've been feeling like crap ever since I made that joke. So
it's fine. David Hasselhoff's cool, okay, but nobody's gonna forget about that. I'm sorry.
I enjoyed this. The more I think about it, like in the process of watching it, I was like, "This is bad." But now I think about it, I'm like, "No, that was fun. That was goofy." And thinking about it as a live performance and not a recording of a live performance, I soften a bit to it, if that makes sense. Like I feel like, yeah, that would be a lot of fun, or I'd love to throw beach balls at this and. Yeah. Bright flashing lights and shiny keys. Like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad seeing this live.
No. So what my cheese rating is going to be is coastal cheese, because this feels like it would float around on like a coastal type cruise ship. And it's made in England because this is an English show.
Nice.
It's coastal cheddar specifically. Brie, you're up. What'd you think of our discussion and your cheese rating of that?
I thought your discussion was fantastic. It makes me want to go watch this. It sounds like something I would.
Excellent.
It does. It's something I want to see now. I feel like if I was to die tomorrow and never got to watch this, I would be either in hell or heaven. Very upset that I didn't get to see it.
You just need a DJ to save your life.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
To overdose on drugs and then wake up to Baywatch.
So I'm going to give this what David Hasselhoff splurges on Sunday is a bagel with lox and cream cheese and capers and onions and something else, because I didn't open up the website and I'm just reading from Google.
Oh man,
that's a lot of stuff to have just on a Sunday. Like,
he says it's his secret to keeping young.
And Botox.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Let's be real. If I had that money, I have some Botox too.
He looks great though. He looks really good.
He does.
Like
he does look great.
Maybe I should get some Botox. That might
have
be
you seen that like meme? It's like, you're not ugly, you're just poor.
You're right.
Man, never thought of it that way.
Man. Allison, this was so much fun. We love having you on. We hope to have you on a bunch more in 2021. But promote your stuff. We gotta shill everything that you've got. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. You can find my videos talking about Baywatch or So Bad It's Good movies or Charmed or Star Trek and any sort of thing like that. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/movie nights the series. You can find me on Twitter at Allison Pregler. What else should I shill? You can find my Charmed podcast at anchor.fm under Charmed Hard with a Vengeance or Charmed Rewind. I think that's the biggies there. Yeah. Oh, you could also find me at phaelus.com. That's where my boyfriend's stuff is.
Mm-hmm. And if I try to do this with everyone that comes on, my personal recommendation of things I always revisit is whenever she covers the Mary-Kate and Ashley like videos from when they were
thank
little.
you.
Those are such a joy to watch.
Triple features. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we'll look at like 3 random Mary-Kate and Ashley shorts, me and Phelan, and Phelan just he's not the target audience for this, and I grew up on those, and yeah, those are a lot of fun to do.
Well, yeah, and I grew up on them too because I was a weird child. So it's like opening a box of nostalgia for me, and it's like, man, they really did seem miserable shooting those.
I didn't notice as a kid. I was just like, yeah, Mary-Kate and Ashley's the coolest. I was jealous of my friend. She was part of their fan club. She got all their like merch and stuff, and Man.
Man, now
It's a
I'm
trip
jealous of
looking
your
back
friend
at it.
now. How do I get Mary Kate and Ashley merch?
Be a rich kid. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So you,
mean, how much
you
did
can
it cost
stay
per month to
beautiful
do that?
and rich, and you can be a part of the Mary Kate and Ashley fan club. But you know who's
Why am I
definitely not
poor?
a...
Jeez.
Yeah, why are we poor? You know who's definitely not a part of the Mary Kate and Ashley fan club, Andrew?
Me? I definitely wasn't.
Our wonderful patrons! Thank you guys for listening. Follow us on iTunes,
That's
Spotify,
shocking.
Stitcher, at Musicals with Cheese. Our Twitter is at Cheesy Musicals. Patreon, Musicals with Cheese. Instagram, YouTube page, All Musicals with Cheese. We have a patron-only podcast called Glee with Cheese, and we do post like bi-weekly there, so if you're not on the Patreon, you're missing out. Email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our transcriptions are done by the incredible Masha Litvinova. We are so lucky to have her on the team, and we love her to death. Our title card was created by the amazing Jolene Casco. Go send her some love on Instagram at Jolene Casco, and that's with a C. Our keeper of the cheese and the one that counts all our cheese ratings is Juliet Antonio. Thank you for doing that, because God knows I wasn't going to do it. This show is produced and edited by the incredible, the wonderful, the fantastic Brianna Jones. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on the platform and for not kicking us off yet. One day it'll happen. Allison, is there anything else you want to say before we call it a night?
Don't hassle the Hoff.
Good. Yeah, good call.
No better words.
I can't snap, but I'll pretend.
We'll see you guys next time on Musicals with Cheese.